storage compartment. Now we can lower the hinge door to reveal our bobbin holder. To remove the bobbin case, simply lift out and pull out the bobbin case. Your machine is designed to use a Class 15 transparent bobbin. So when you go to the store to buy more bobbins, on the spool pin. Now we'll take our spool of thread and sit that on our spool pin. We're going to follow the diagram to the left of your machine, and it shows winding the thread around our bobbin winding tension disc. So taking your thread and going from the front of the disc and around to the back, you can see that the thread goes in between the disc. And there should be a slight tension. With your thread in one hand, we'll take our Class 15 transparent bobbin in the other, and you'll notice on your bobbin there are two holes, one on each side. You'll take your thread through the center of your bobbin and up through one of those holes. It doesn't matter which one. And then we'll hold the end of our thread with one hand, and then we'll place our bobbin on our bobbin winding spindle. And you want to make sure that you snap it all the way down in place. Now we'll slide the bobbin to the right while still holding our thread tail. Now we're going to press down on our foot control, and we're going to let our thread go around our bobbin a few times while still holding our thread tail. And behind the metal tab until it snaps into place in the large opening on the side of your bobbin case. Now we're going to lift our latch on the back of our bobbin case, and we want to have our prong or our finger, our metal finger here, pointed north or toward 12 o'clock. Then we can take and seat our bobbin case into our bobbin holder with our finger again going north. And you'll see that it's in there securely. It's not falling out or going to the right or the left. Now we can close our hinge door, making sure that our thread doesn't get caught in the sides. Before we thread our upper thread, there are two things that we need to remember. The first is that we need to have our take-up lever in its highest position. And to do that, we turn our hand wheel toward ourselves. The second thing we need to remember is to make sure our presser foot is lifted. Now we can take our spool pin felt and place it on our spool pin. Then we'll take our sewing thread and place it on the spool pin. We'll use this thread guide, and you can see the arrow here that lets us know to take our thread from the right side of our machine toward the left and across. There's another diagram at the top of your machine that shows where our thread needs to go. It tells us to take it to the back side of the machine and then through this hook toward the front. We're going to take our thread down through this groove, and you'll follow your arrows. So we'll go down and then make a U-turn and back up. And then you want to go to the right of your take-up lever. So to the right of our take-up lever, all the way to the back, and then we'll go to the left side. You can see the arrow here tells us to do that. And then we'll pull the thread, and you can see the loop here, which is our bobbin thread. So now we can pull the bobbin thread through, and we'll take both threads underneath our presser foot and to the back of our machine. Before we get started, let's test to make sure that we've threaded our machine properly. I've got a little bit of scrap fabric here, and I'm going to turn to the medium straight stitch on my stitch selector dial. Now we can take our fabric and go underneath our presser foot, and then using our presser foot lifter in the back, we'll lower it down. Now we can press down on our foot control and sew. Once you're done, we can lift our presser foot. And notice that my needle is still kind of down in my fabric. We always want to be sure to never turn the hand wheel backwards. If you do, your machine will jam the next time you start to sew. So remember, always turn it towards you. Now that our needle is raised to the highest position using our hand wheel, we can take our fabric, and there is a small cutter on the side of your machine, so we can just take our thread over to our cutter and cut our thread. Now let's look at our stitch to see if we've threaded our machine properly. The top looks good, our bottom looks